Kia ora, Guro Jee Choi here, Floro Fighting Systems. So, I'm going to be reverting back to being Sifu G for a while for my whanau back home in Aotearoa. Kia ora, Tena, Katoa, everyone. Hopefully everybody's doing well. This was at a request from those of you who train with Sifu Michael Chang. Chang, how's it going, bro? And for those of you Rangatahis who are training under one of my closest friends, you're very fortunate. Listen to what Sifu tells you to do for when you do the training. And for those of you, especially who are still new to this, let me just say this out loud. Sifu Michael Chang and I have fought countless fights, and as a bouncer we were a team. So this is one of many reasons why I could vouch for my brother's skill as a warrior. And for those of you especially who descend with Maori lineage, you are warriors, descendants of the Matauenga. So with that said, learning to use something like this is just a practice to better use your patu. So think it as that, okay? Alright, going into that, this was at a request of Sifu to see if I could do some online distant learning first before I arrive. So skill set that you guys are going to be learning today is going to be basically essential of the Filipino martial arts curriculum that I teach in my Choi Kanchi Gundo. So what you guys are learning right now in Changar Talangshan, Chang's teaching you some mostly bladed stuff. This is a little bit different from the Dao stuff, but word of advice from my teacher in Filipino martial art, as he said, that stick can be anything. It's a magic wand. It could become a blade, it could become a bludgeon, it could become hammer, axe, whip, whatever you need it to be. So for that purpose, Chang's gonna probably craft you guys these from the broomsticks, as he told me. I'm not sure how well they'll last, but train with that. And the golden thing is you just need the lanyard to make sure it's secure to your wrist so it doesn't fly all over the place. Especially for those of you who are a bit older, I hear that you all are living in an apartment. So with that said, yeah, you don't want, if you want your deposit back, you definitely want to swing something smaller for solo training, because anything longer can do some significant damage if you're not careful. So with that said, let's start out with the beginning. So that's our salutation. Head, your mind is clear, honoring those who came before you, and heart, being sincere, and nice little salute to whoever's training with you. So that's how it goes. So that's the basic salutation. Alright, that out of the way, let's get on with your first session. Alright, first lesson that I want to teach you guys is the universal angle. Think of this as the ABCs of Filipino martial arts. Especially now, when I say Filipino martial art, this is just a term that includes a variety of different Filipino martial arts under different respective names. It also goes by Anis de Mano, aquellos arnis, Eskrima, and also Kali. These are all referring to Filipino martial arts as an art, and individual characteristics of all of these vary from different art to art. The way I could describe this is that it's not just each art will have or each family system, because most of these martial arts also have some sort of name that is attached to it with the family. So think of it as a different iwi, different tribal system, because every tribe has a different unique characteristics to how they fight, think, and the culture to it is different from your general standards. But what I'm teaching you right now is the generic base structure of Filipino martial arts that's common in almost every systems. Every system has their own numbering, but this is basically the simplest that I've been used to, because this is what I was originally first schooled around after my second Filipino martial arts teacher who taught me this. So going from here, angle 1 is a hard cut or strike from your right to left. And this is, if it's with a blade, obviously this would be a slash. If it's with a stick, it's a strike. There's two different definitive way of striking that I want to get out of the way. First is called the Wittig. Wittig is a snap cut or snap strike or snap shot. This is what's most commonly what I use, because when I typically spar, I'm usually referring to using a blade in one form or another. But if it's even with an impact weapon, it can do significant shock damages. But if it's a bladed weapon that is curved, doing Wittig can do damage, but with a loptic, you're cutting through whatever the material that you're trying to cut down. I'll turn the lights back on. Do apologize lots. And for those of you joining us who are not in Aotearoa, kia ora. Feel free to join and learn, because this is part of education for everybody. Just be careful what you're training with and where, and make sure you train safely, most importantly. With something like this, never with a blade until you're good enough and ready enough, and you'll know when. So that's two types of attack, Wittig and loptic. So Wittig is just simply flicking the shot forward, and there's many different ways to do this, but they'll come later on. As for loptic, just go through, which is very easy. Just hard shot and cutting through, not just cutting and stopping. It's cutting all the way through the target. Very important when you're learning to do tameshikiri, which is Japanese for cutting targets. And later on you'll learn to do that too in different arts. Alright, so here's one. Hard, top, right, straight down. One. From left, opposite, this is 2. 3 is horizontal from the right. 4 is horizontal from the left. 5 is a straight lunge. 6 is an arcing lunge with your palm facing, I say facing down on this one, slightly, or facing sideways. And after that, 7 is reverse, palm up thrust, or palm up lunge. And 8 is what we call redondo, like this. So you want to do at least 2 on this. 9 is upward slash from right to left. 10 is upward slash from left to right. 11 is it can be 2 things. It can be a vertical slash up, or straight thrust up under the chin. And 12